Is the Cultist of Khorne any good? This isn't a hard question. The Cultist of Khorne is an army replenishment hero in a faction that hurts for replenishment. For Khorne cares not from whence the blood flows, yada yada. So the Cultist helps just by existing inside an army. The real question is he good besides that role? We shall see. Please like, subscribe, comment, and consider donating to my Ko-fi page. Undeterred and undaunted. The Cultist of Khorne comes to you at 4068 HP on Ultra as a squishy human, and, being a squishy human, he wears armor, with a rating of 75. He also has a silver grade shield blocking 55% of small arms fire. So this is a character you can use to attract fire and tank for your archer What? What was that? Khorne doesn't have weakling archers? Oh, never mind then. Missile resistance is 15%, same as all characters by default, so at least some of what gets past the shield gets laughed off. Leadership is 65, which is very mid, meaning that the Cultist believes in Khorne, but only so much, okay? Speed is 44, which is shockingly superhuman for a mortal. Melee attack is 55 on the high end of a foot hero, attack interval is a healthy 4, and he damages a maximum of 7 targets with splash attacks. Melee defense is a healthy 14. Weapon strength is 420, with 275 of that base and 145 armor piercing, a ratio that thrives on smiting the squishy, but isn't completely helpless against basically any dwarf on the battlefield. Charge bonus is 45, and mass is 1000. As a mortal unit, the Cultist comes with Frenzy, so melee attack goes up by 10, and you get 10% more charge bonus and weapon strength, plus immunity to psychology while the leadership holds in general. Of course, as all heroes, he encourages friendly units. Without DLC, the Cultist only has one mount available. With DLC, a second. The first is the Chaos Steed. This turns the Cultist into a Chaos Knight of Khorne, basically. His HP rises, his armor goes up to 95 default, his shield is downgraded to block 35% of missiles in a frontal arc, speed climbs up to 78, melee attack, attack interval, and splash targets damaged are unchanged, melee defense and weapon strength are unchanged, and charge bonus is 60 by default. This is notable because the Cultist remains very effective against squishy infantry. The Chaos Warshrine of Khorne jacks health up to 11, 250, armor is reduced to 70, missile resistance is 0, spell resistance is 15, and just understand this, you are risking your Cultist severely if you do this before he is immortal, just like with most Chaos factions. Warshrines are arrow magnets. For the rest, I refer you to my much-loved Chaos Warshrine of Khorne video, the jalapeno version of the unit. Most people will tell you not to recruit them simply because you can get them as mounts. Well, that's if you can keep your cultists alive while using them, so consider that first. Losing a level 19 hero is not a laughing matter. It is more of a crying one. As an agent, the Cultist of Khorne replenishes the army like I mentioned, but also spreads corruption of Khorne like a good cult bro should. Against a settlement, he can damage walls to make the assault more efficient. Against characters, he inflicts wound. Against armies, he hinders replenishment so that a beaten foe remains black and blue. As always, Specialist lowers the money equivalent cost of your agent actions. The standard Khorne melee line is a little different than the Beastman one, so I'll go over it briefly. Brutal Charge starts you off with 5% weapon strength and 5% charge bonus. Devastating Charge adds up to 30 more. Thick-Skinned adds up to 15 armor. Hard to Hit adds up to 12 melee defense. Deadly Blade adds up to 12 melee attack. Foe Seeker is the standard 25% speed buff. Wound Maker adds up to 20% weapon strength. I love this one. Scarred Veteran adds up to 15% hit points. Indomitable adds up to 12 leadership, and Blade Shield adds up to 12 more melee defense. Deadly Onslaught enables 25% more damage and 60% more charge bonus. So use it about, 5 feet away from the enemy. Brass collar adds 10% spell resistance, and thick skin adds 10% missile resistance. Standard stuff. What's very specifically Khorne is the Hates Slanesh skill, granting melee attack plus 10 and weapon strength plus 15% when fighting Slanesh factions. Because, hey, those lovey-dovey guys can go to hell. But this is meant for a Realm of Chaos campaigns. What we're left with are the Gate of Khorne abilities. The basic version summons a unit of Bloodletters up to 3 times. Here's the complication. The ability charges or recharges from being in melee. If you're using a Chaos War Shrine, your Cultist will be slow to get into melee to begin with. Now, even basic Bloodletters are good, so you do want them on the field. You just need to know the conditions. Greater Gate of Khorne does the same thing, except you summon a Bloodthirster, and that is, in every sense, a very big deal. Bloodthirsters are wonderful units and extremely powerful in a pinch against the right enemy. The catch? Same as before, the Cultist needs to be in melee. So would you rather have the War Shrine for its special spice, or would you rather get the Cultist in combat at 78 speed? Or keep this in mind. He runs faster than the War Shrine. Think about it. Now, like I said at the start, the Cultist helps an army just by existing. Eventually he becomes able to work as a summoner, but none of his incarnations favor armor-piercing damage. This severely limits his ability to be a useful melee hero against advanced targets. I mean, he'll do work and he'll resist damage, but nowhere near enough to satisfy you. Now, to state the obvious, Bloodletters and Bloodthirsters most certainly do pierce armor, so late in the situation, that helps you get value. The rest comes from items and whatnot. That tells you what one Cultist does for an army. Some people have tried doom stacking them. As long as you get them into melee, and they, actually survive, you can start summoning Bloodletters left and right, and eventually Bloodthirsters to really clean up. So multiple Cultists are an option, I suppose. Along those lines, here's a particularly good quality of the Cultist. The building you recruit him from is the Chaos Warriors building. Upgrading that building to tier 3 gets you the Chaos Warriors of Khorne with halberds, and adds 1 to your maximum for Cultists. You want Chaos Warriors, right? Right? So you're going to have the ability to recruit Cultists early and often. Why isn't it more? Because Khorne heroes don't cast magic, duh. Having said that, if you do favor the War Shrine instead of the steed or on foot, you're issuing a damage buff to everything in the area on your side from deaths in battle from all sides. Just keep in mind, Khorne cares not from whence the blood flows, but you kind of do. Take care, and have fun converting by the sword. The Chaos Gods will know their own.